Welcome back to the Amazing Bus. Today we'll be talking about the one of the biggest conspiracy theories. Did NASA fake the moon landing and was it a conspiracy theory? To start off, some conspiracy theories would have it that NASA and the US government faked the whole thing. There were the ideas goes that the US president made a promise in 1961 to make a speech that the decade before the decade is out, we're gonna land on the moon, and therefore they created the scheme and faked this whole thing. Some, according to some theorists. According to sources, the first person to land on the moon was Neil Armstrong in Apollo 11 in 1969, along with his colleagues. The top conspiracy theory was that the shadows in the moon landings photos were proof that the images were faked. Like according to this image, as you can see in this, it said the NASA website. If you look closely, you can cast at the astronaut Neil Armstrong and the other object just out of the shot. What's wrong with them? They're not parallel. This image has been taken as proof, as according to the conspiracy theorists, that the moon landing were faked. Because surely the sun were not the only light source, since then the shadows would be parallel. Doesn't this prove that the whole thing was a scene and a mocked up in a studio? Also, number two is that Apollo astronauts could not have survived the Earth's radiation. Earth is surrounded by a zone of charged particles known as the Van Allen radiation belt. These are regions surrounding the Earth in our magnetic field where high energy is trapped. Particles from the sun tend to get confined. According to Prof. Aja says what that means is that if you're going to the regions, there are extremely high concerns of radiations. And in that case, how did the astronauts survive this? How is it possible? Furthermore, the more the conspiracy theories are, one of them is that the top one is that why are there no stars in the pictures of the NASA in the moon landings? Like according to this picture, as you can see, if the image was really taken on the moon, shouldn't the sky be filled with stars? After all, there is no atmosphere to distort the image, no clouds to interrupt the glorious view. So the conspiracy theories argues that the lack of stars in Apollo 11 mission photographs proves that the event was staged. NASA could not have faked the full wonder of the lunar sky, so they simply choose not to include any stars at all, and therefore it's believed that they say this is all faked and staged. Another point these guys argue is that if there's no wind on the atmosphere, then how is the flag waving and like moving left and right? But if you look closely on top of the flag, you can see there's a pole. And according to the pole, there's a telescopic object inside it which is causing it to move, so they can proudly say that the US has finally made it to the moon. Another point that they argue is that why are there limited people? Why aren't there more people on the moon? Why is there any other proof? Why isn't there anything that they ever found? Why didn't they bring anything back from the moon? Also, a few years later, as you can see in this a movie by James Bond, Diamonds Are Forever, they have literally staged the same thing. So they believe that this was the same thing a few years ago in 1969 with Neil Armstrong. NASA has a budget of $25 billion at the moment. So back then, one of the biggest funding to the US government, like for NASA, was also in the billions. So they believe that why would they spend that much money on that? Why not just recreate it? Why not fake it? So this is why a lot of people believe that if it cost them 25 billion for their budget, then why would they spend that much? As you can see in this picture, on the left picture you have Neil Armstrong's shoes, which left a footprint on the right, as you can see on the right. And this photograph was taken from the cameras back then on the moon. So they believe this is also staged and faked. While Neil Armstrong on Apollo 11 and his other colleagues were planning to land on the moon, it was being watched by 400,000 people in the NASA communications. So this is all being watched as they were stepping on the moon. So this is also said to be faked and staged. They say that NASA has $25 billion budget a year. So that's enough to make over 120 universities and colleges. So why not spend it on that rather than waste money and go to the moon? So this is why they believe that this is fake and this is all should be better to the other objects and all that. A lot of conspiracy theorists also bring up this image and say this is fake. As you can see in the reflection, there's a lot of cameras and shadows, and you don't see a star in sight or anything. So they believe that this image proves a lot that this is staged and faked, since half of it looks photoshopped and all. Every night you look up and you see the moon so beautiful like that. Do you think that we made it or we didn't make it? Is it all fake? Is it real? Please let us know. Share your thoughts and how you feel, and do you think it's true or not? And do you think this is also fake? Please let us know in the comments. Thank you. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you for your time. See you again.